Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right. My apologies for the technical difficulties, folks. I just wonder sometimes. But anyway, we're going to finish out with the conclusion of that video where we're talking about the new energy and this new paradigm and how we can take a new perspective on numerology. So, my apologies if any of this information overlaps. But again, with numerology, similar to what I was speaking about previously, which is the fact that in this new energy, many, not all of the things that we had previously come to know as, esoteric arts, working with energy, light work, anything of that nature, anything where you're working with the unseen, or anything of that, right? So now in this new energy, working much differently, right? In some cases, we have subtle changes, and in other cases, we have drastic changes. So, I did mention previously, we're not necessarily bound by the same laws or traditions or ritualistic practices, right? Things don't necessarily work the same, right? Again, I brought up the fact that this is in fact a new paradigm, a new time we're living in on this planet. It's a new energy on the planet, right? A new group of energies. And these things affect us much differently, right? So it only makes sense that we would interact with these energies differently, that we would utilize perhaps different modalities, right, of transferring, relaying, manipulating, and utilizing energies, right? It would only make sense that some of our quote-unquote ritualistic practices may change or need to change, right? Or that we may not need any at all, right? Often, and I spoke about this in previous videos, that folks, now you're in a space, in an area of space-time where you can create your own rituals, right? You can create your own esoteric practices, right? You are the master of how you perform your light work, your energy work, right? Does that mean we have to go back and throw everything away? No, we can certainly use the past as a guide, but know that you are not bound by that, right? And do what you choose. If you want to do things the same way you've been doing them, and if that works for you, then fine. But everyone know that we now have this opportunity, right, to do things differently. And with numerology, that is indeed also the case. There had previously been, set meanings, depending on what discipline you were perceiving numerology from. It could be from a purely esoteric standpoint. If you were a futurist, you might look at it a little bit differently. If you are maybe someone in, the Nation of Islam, or you might be one of my brothers or sisters of the 5% nation, right? A lot of different disciplines where we looked at numbers and the meanings of numbers, and things now may be working a bit differently. But here's what you can do. Make your own chart. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this number means this. That number means that. This combination of numbers. However you want to process observing, analyzing, and determining for yourself the meaning of these numbers in your life. My recommendation is this. Get a tablet out or a notebook, nice thick notebook. Get you a couple good pens, right? Or if you want, pencil, whatever. I just am partial to pens myself. And start to observe the occurrences of numbers in your life. Now, folks, I'm not telling you to be obsessed with this and to run around all day. Every little number that you happen to come across or see, you find some deep and profound meaning in. There are people who have literally gotten lost in doing that, right? Because you'll see numbers all day long, and the more you look for them, the more you'll see them. So, this is certainly not something that, I want to see you making into an obsession. But as a tool, you can observe numbers in several ways. So let's say you're looking at a clock and you come across, you just happen to be looking at 5:15. It's a 515, right? So previously you might have said, okay, that 5 represents change, right? That 1, depending on what discipline you're looking from, may represent knowledge. It may represent a beginning or singularity, depending on, again, what discipline you're utilizing. It may mean different things. What I'm suggesting you do is a little bit different. Anytime, and something else you might have done, you may have, said, okay, there's another 5 there, so there's 2 5s. 2 5 is a 7, that's spiritual or God number. You could have added them all up and said 515 equals 11. That's the master number. A lot of things you can do, right? Here's what I'm suggesting. As you observe these occurrences of numbers in your life, start to take note on what is actually happening in your life. What is the situation? What is the scenario and all of its intricacies to you and how you perceive it? How do you feel at that occurrence or as a result of that situation or scenario that you happen to be in when you observe this? Where are you at? What is the weather like? What's the season? All these different ways that you can utilize your senses, your mental acumen, every tool that you have to observe your world and the situation and scenarios you find yourself in at the time of these numerical occurrences, right? And of course, it's powerful when you see double numbers and things like 1111 on the clock or 1212, things of that nature. And there's other ways that you'll see numbers. But however these numerical occurrences happen, take note to what it means to you truly. What is it really signifying in your life, right? And as you continue this process, build your own chart of what each number means, what different number combinations mean to you. Remember, this is a new energy. In this energy, we are sovereign and a lot more in control, a lot more aware, right? With that awareness comes a certain degree of mastery, right? And when I say mastery, I mean mastering our potential, right? Again, these things are happening to you at a specific time. What is the purpose of numerology and of, folks, numbers have a certain energy that is multidimensional. We have to, often we're stuck at looking at things and breaking things down from a purely linear standpoint. When in reality, we need to develop our ability to break things down from a multidimensional perspective or from several perspectives at once, right? So, what we really need to do here is recognize that numbers are a multidimensional communication to you and carry their own specific energy, right? To you, specifically in this energy that we're in now, right? A lot of what we are experiencing has to do with our personal awakening and with our newly found ability. I don't know that I want to put it that way. I don't want to say newly found. Newly recovered, right? Our newly recovered ability to utilize and further understand our perspective, and our ability to use perspective as a tool, right? Because how you look and perceive a situation is very powerful in how it impacts you and your life, right? So the same is true with numbers. Build your own catalog, I would suggest, of what these numbers and these different number combinations mean to you. What were you doing at this time? What happened? Were you in the middle of, an important conversation and something distracted you, and when you got back to that conversation or that thought pattern, you happen to look at the clock and there's it's 11:11 or something like that, or 10:10. That's a multi-dimensional communication to you, right? And it's up to you. And I think it's most accurate when you are communicating and expressing what that means to you at that time. Again, what situation, scenario, what you're feeling, what were you thinking? Is there something that came into your life that brought change at that moment? All of these things are ways for you to interpret the energy of these numbers for yourself. And then once you build, whatever you feel is the most comprehensive list of numbers, what their meaning is, different number combinations, what it means to you when you see numbers at a certain time or a certain season of the year. All of these different factors are input as to how you will interpret, perceive, and utilize these numbers and the communication, the multidimensional communication that they are to you, and how effective they will be, how effective you will be advising them to your benefit, right? Communication. I'm not going to sell too much. I do reiterate that, folks, we are in a new paradigm where things are working for numerology is right. Okay. Thank you once. I love you. Thank you for helping to build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's continue to build this beautiful worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq, I'm out.